So the questions are: is everyone up to speed on where we are? Like from what happened last session? Is there
Yeah,
anything you guys feel like has been missed that Kay didn't get told?
We were discussing with Giles what is happening, and then John sat down to study something. I think that's what was happening.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
And
If
I let
John's
the
reading,
guard drake
who could
eat.
have guessed?
Right, yes. And we were going to resolve. So the guard drake is obviously overeating. John is studying. And
Not enough time had passed, so I assumed he would still be eating.
yes, he's in the process of overeating, but you can see it's going that way. Like he's eating too fast and not slowing down.
Then I would tell him to stop and point to the corner and, I don't know, tell him to sit in Draconic.
Okay. Fair enough. Which he will do. So what do you guys want to like accomplish next? Is it talking to Giles or is it resting or what?
Rest, please.
Yeah, I think resting is the first order.
Yeah, I think we should take a rest.
Okay, excellent.
Is the pit fiend fine now, or
he's sitting on the throne, which he was ordered by Karak to take a seat. He is now sitting on the throne and has been discussing.
He's half metal.
Karak didn't voice it as an order. Karak just suggested it, so it's coming through a lot gently than a lot more gently than other orders might.
Yes.
And he did say that it's not hurting his head, so
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make it clear.
yeah, but if we go to sleep, we're not gonna wake up to a fully powered pit fiend. That's.
I mean, are
Yes.
we talking about taking a long rest or a short rest?
I mean, I don't think I've got enough fuel for a short rest.
I was going to say that is again down to party discretion.
Yeah, I've got 2 hit die and I'm pretty beat up.
Okay, well, I assumed short, but if we want to take a long, I'm alright with that.
If we're going to take a short rest, I would assume we would take it somewhere else.
I think Kronk would want to do it here just to keep an eye on the pet fiend, since they don't have to sleep.
There's just a lot of dead bodies, and it's swampy, and it's kind of icky, and there's no light here, and...
Yeah, but swampy, dead bodies and no light is kind of what Kronk lived in all their life, so they're not really that fussed.
I mean, we could also clean up the swamp, I mean,
if you want to.
If we wanted to, like, carve out a little corner over here, and John will point down towards the Titan down on the bottom, I could make our little dome, and that could be comfortable for us.
We could try.
Well, we can sleep anywhere, I just kind of want to keep an eye on Giles in case the cultists come back.
Yeah.
The ones that we were dealing with before.
Well, then you should put the dome in the hallway.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I mean, we don't know if the enchantments that the orc performed on the pit fiend. We don't know if the enchantments that the orc shaman performed on the cult leader are still in effect. Like, he could still be all, ugh.
Yeah, he very well could.
Don't exactly trust him right now. Trust these two. These two are alright. And Crack will give a big thumbs up to the monk and the cleric.
Very different reactions from the two of them. The cleric is almost excitedly waving back. The monk is just doing like a little half bow.
I like this guy. I quite like Luna's idea of blocking up the path in.
We'll have to choose a side because the dome's too big to fit in the hallway.
Sure.
Well, it's not going to fit in the stairwell then.
No. So it's
What
either
about-
going to have to be in here or in the other chamber. And it should be in here because if we recall, they had a back way in.
I'm pretty good at finding back ways in. Do you want me to go look?
Bitte, wir benannte da wie look a bit.
See if there's another entrance into this cave you need or somewhere else.
Well, however they got in here.
Wouldn't he know and I'll point at the pit fiend?
I can't imagine so. I mean, from his perspective, they would have come in through the hallway there in the corner. He's, kind of been stuck here.
I'm gonna start checking the room for any secret passageways, like along the walls and stuff.
Sure, make me an investigation check.
I have advantage on that for finding secret doors.
Excellent, then roll me with advantage.
I'm still gonna fail because I'm a +1. Why is it candy?
I do not know why it's rolling as candy, but that is
But
still
that is
16.
Luna.
Right,
That,
okay.
That is Luna's sheet, though.
You don't find any secret passages in this room, but while you're investigating, do you move the rug?
I thought I moved the rug when we first came in here.
Yeah, we already know what's under the rug.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But
Also,
do you
the
move the
rug is
again?
covered in swamp right now, so I can't even see it.
Yeah.
Right, okay, fair enough.
It's
So no.
covered in swamp and it has a warg alpha dead.
Yeah,
on top of
so
it.
you're not moving the rug. All right, good to know. No, there are no secret passages that you find in or out of this room. Obviously, there was this passage with the now demolished Warforged Titan missing an arm and a leg. There's the passage that was created to get into this room. Nothing else in this immediate vicinity. So it looks like one way in, one way out right now to you.
I'm going to. You said when the Batarang sucked all of the good juice out of the robed orcs head, like the skin just kind of like was all loose around it.
Yes, like the internal stuff had been devoured, but the skin had not.
So would it be relatively easy just to pop the whole head off?
Gross.
Pop it off, not really, because I mean, you make the attempt, right? You grab the loose bag of skin and pull, and as skin does, it stretches. So like you're
Wait,
just
there's no bone?
stretching skin. Yeah, the bones, the internal meat, it's all gone.
Well, the bone's gone as well.
Yes.
Just turns him to goo, I guess.
Oh, I thought it just ate all of like the fleshy parts.
No, it took the bones in as well, which
It
is
went to
very
town.
weird. So it's a fully deflated, like you could pull it on like a mask. It's you know,
it's a skin balloon.
yeah, it's a skin balloon.
Nope, don't want that. That's I misunderstood. I thought like it just drank all of like the internal gooey parts, and it was just like a
husk.
fleshy mask over a skull.
No, it seems to have taken the skull, the sinew, everything. For some reason, it's left the skin, but everything inside the skin, it just went to town.
Horrific.
That's pretty gross.
That's not fucked up at all.
You're welcome. I love that I have you sitting in a room with a pit fiend, and this is the thing that you're really taking umbrage with.
Well, that's like gross and sticky. The pit fiend's just,
He's just a
chilling.
guy.
in one piece, mainly, kind of.
I mean, he wasn't, but now he is.
He's just a little guy, and it's his birthday. Like,
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, Giles is just chilling. We're not worried.
You wouldn't harm us.
Okay, well, guess I'm gonna start taking a short rest.
Okay.
Well, I don't see any secret passages in here, John, so if you set up the thing right here, then we'd probably be fine.
Yeah, and then if Giles decides that he doesn't like us in the middle of the night, he can't fireball us in our sleep because the dome will protect us.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'd do that right now, because then he'd just be stuck.
Yeah.
Well, even if he wasn't stuck, why wouldn't he like us? We helped him, right?
Well, I think he wanted to go
Right?
back to the Hells, and he wanted his free will, and he's only got part of that right now, so...
Yeah, he's looking at his like newly metal arm and just inspecting it, and like it's really difficult to tell the expression on a pit fiend's face because like it's so alien in musculature and there's no lips and whatever, but you would assume this is curiosity. And then Al starts talking about him and he kind of like looks over to Al and just without actually getting involved in the conversation takes the metal hand and goes tink 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 against like the spike still in his chest, offering no further information than just goes back to inspecting the arm.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah, so Giles over here, I assume that's more comfortable, and I'll look him in the eyes, than saying, you know, what would you rather be called?
That's a
He
good point, actually.
turns his head to look you directly in the eyes, John, and says, almost with too much force of will for you to be comfortable with it, Master. And then again goes back to inspecting his
Oh
arm.
no! Oh
Yeah.
no! No!
Yeah.
I don't think John is into that kind of thing.
Are you?
Shut up.
Bruh.
And I'm confused, John. I thought you wanted to learn from this guy.
Yes, but there's an issue I take with the tone. I don't mind a disciple-student type of relationship because there's a lot to learn, but it needs to be a relationship based on respect, and that didn't feel very respectful.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're gonna
That's good to
die.
know.
We're
Can I?
sorry. One final question before we go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we opposed to sending him back to hell again?
We can't send him back
We're
to hell
not.
because there's a chance that Tiamat has taken over the Hells, and our friend Giles here will just get demoted to the lowest form of life in the Hells, and he doesn't want that, and neither do we. So, for everyone's benefit, he has to stay here hidden. That way, Tiamat can't find him, reduce him, he can't get corrupted or demoted. It's a really tricky balancing act we've got going on.
For the record,
But if any of that
this is
happens,
not something I agree with.
What is something that
Oh.
you don't agree with?
I would happily return to the Hells. No one willingly knows my allegiance at this moment in time. There's no reason for them to demote me. Absence notwithstanding, I'm almost sure all of my previous masters will be busy with other things.
Yeah, but that's a risk.
And you gain
Yeah, but
nothing
look-
if you take no risks.
exactly,
true.
and think about how useful an informant will be. We'll know exactly what's going on in hell. We might even have more allies like him who dislike Tiamat, and he can, like, connect us. You're the one that said we needed more power, right? And I'll look to John.
Yeah, John looks noticeably, like, uncomfortable at that whole thing. Well, technically, that's just, well, pretty fucking dangerous.
The thing is, we don't know how far Tiamat's reach goes, so it's not a good idea.
We don't know.
Are you not on this plane at this very moment directly opposing Tiamat, while standing mere feet from a direct worshipper of her?
Okay, like
Aye.
directly.
The cultist just shrinks back to the wall and makes
No.
himself as small as possible. And the pit fiend just like flicks open his hands, is like, I could incinerate him with a thought.
But, like, saying
See?
we're directly opposing isn't totally true, because, like, I don't think Tiamat knows we exist yet.
No, not yet, but probably soon, and maybe even the Lord of this realm.
And for all my power in your eyes, I am below her radar.
This is true. I don't know.
I
If we...
actually have a question.
Yes?
So, you said, and I'll start talking to the Pit Fiend again. You said she hasn't killed us because whatever the reason, right? And you're below her radar. What about the big guy down there? You know, what was he? What was he called? Asmodeus or something?
The Lord of
Is
the
he?
Hells.
Did she kill him to take control? Yes. I mean, well, obviously not anymore.
And Giles, like, lets out a big sigh and is like, because I am stuck to this chair with a spike through my chest, I don't know.
The big guy doesn't again. He suggested summoning an imp and sending it in to give him an update of what's going on down there, but John's against it.
Now, if we summon an imp, and it tells you everything that you need to know, could we prevent the imp from relaying the information?
I could destroy it.
Would that be amenable
You
to
mean kill?
No, it would simply be reverted to the Hells and start reforming there, at which point it would be slated for demotion. It would set it back a few hundred years, but it's nothing that hasn't happened before.
Right.
Would that screw its loyalty? I don't know how hell works.
It might, however, were I to decide that the threat of it spilling information has passed, I could always re-promote it and dangle further promotion in front of it to regain its loyalty. There are ways of managing these things.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna pull out my flute and start playing, but I am playing in such a way that I am ritual casting something.
Okay.
It's ominous music to fit the mood of the conversation.
Luna just starts playing the backing track.
Yeah, it's like dramatic, mysterious.
So I would really prefer that we end this whole situation as amicably as we can.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm not above or opposed to letting the big guy basically his freedom. If it means that John can get that facet of power, especially if we can lure the Abashi here, trap that, and have John tap it. Because that thing already hates us, so we can kind of fucking do whatever. Whereas this guy at the moment, I think, is mostly ambivalent to us, and if we can end this in a positive way, could end up being an ally. Right, big guy?
Were I released, I would be amenable to drawing up a contract of allegiance.
Speaking of the Ibashi, I just thought of something, which is rare. So hear me out here.
I shall mark
When
the
all devils
century.
die, when all devils die, they return to hell, basically. Yeah.
Indeed.
Isn't Tiamat a devil?
That depends on your classification. I believe Tiamat is a deity at this point. However, if destroyed on the mortal plane, may indeed simply return to the hells.
And if she's in charge of the hells, can she just walk out again?
I believe it would be just as difficult for them to rise a second time as initially. However, with the state of the world, it's entirely possible.
Oh, fuck.
Al's eyes still glowing or whatever.
Oh yeah, Al's eyes are pretty much like
Oh, I have.
glowing orange now. Yeah, the irises, not
That's
the
cool.
He
pupils.
doesn't even know
So,
I didn't know.
uh,
because he can't see his
big
own
guy.
eyes.
Mhm.
What's with Al's eyes? Is that something to do with you or?
I literally just learned right now that I have glowing eyes, so here we go.
Well, you can give me a couple of minutes and I can figure it out. And John will find a clean spot on the floor to start preparing an identify ritual.
Giles fully watches John start preparing and then just turns to Croc and is like, yes, it was me.
Cool. I
What?
thought so, but Well, that's why I asked him because it seemed like that was probably it.
I mean, we needed help killing the orcs. He needed help getting rid of the orcs, so.
Is it something the two of you are willing to talk about, or is it a wee private thing?
I simply
I-
enhanced your friend so he could silence the shaman.
Ah,
The enhancements may fade with time, but should we make a deal, they could become more permanent.
Interesting.
fair enough.
It has to
I
be a
have to
written
admit, it kind of
contract.
feels great.
It has to be a written contract with you, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Interesting.
I mean, personally, I've got no interest myself, but I'd really like for John to get his wee power
Oh.
up or whatever.
I am very interested,
Aye.
but I do not want to be beholden to any creature. As
Well, see, yeah.
I'm sure our big friend here can relate, having your free will removed is not a good
So-
situation.
That's what I was thinking about. We can offer him his freedom in return for said power.
Yes, it doesn't seem like that's something that he wants to go.
Sorry,
he's-
big guy. Did I misunderstand, or was that not?
I am thoroughly confused out of character because that's exactly what Giles has been angling for.
Oh, yes, but not as a gift, as a contract.
Yeah, as a contract, because he's still a devil. No one just goes, yeah, you're good for it in the hells. Like, that's not how that works.
No. This is a transaction. Your freedom for this boost, not an ongoing.
It's not.
Yes, but
It's not as simple as your freedom for this boost. What he's proposed is my freedom for an alliance, and like that goes. I mean, it's on you to interpret, but when he says alliance, that doesn't just mean, I give you a boost and fuck off. That's an alliance with a pit fiend, which
Oh, okay.
could fully bite you in the ass or could completely save your lives, depending on, the writing of the contract and whatnot.
Yeah, okay. So I had been thinking about it incorrectly.
Because I mean, preferably, like this is like this would be the sort of agreement where like like you didn't own John or anything. We just
No. I have no desire to own any of your beings.
cool.
I have, how to say, bigger fish to fry. I'm sure there are plenty of evil souls finding their ways to the hells at the moment. However, I am
probably,
under
aye.
the impression they are being swallowed up by Tiamat and her forces.
Aye.
What happens if? So it's a contract. It's a two-way thing, right?
Indeed.
What happens if you break it?
Then
I believe that will be stipulated in the contract.
that is, in fact, the case. Whoever I'm writing the contract with, we would be negotiating clauses and whatever you think the most viable punishment for me breaking a clause would be.
And the same goes for the other side of the contract. Whoever of us you're contracting with.
Indeed.
Aye, so, like, we would promise to, free him and, not jam any giant spikes in his chest and stuff.
Indeed.
Honestly,
Plus-
sounds like there's a lot to gain from cooperation.
Yeah, agreed. And then, if we still have the spike, we could use it on the Abashi. Because, as mentioned, that guy already fucking hates us. And then John can...
How?
Yes. No, to bind the Abashi and keep it locked here in Giles's place would be quite a wonderful turn of events, now wouldn't it?
In the spirit of
How powerful
cooperation,
is
I would
this
be
spike?
willing to assist.
That would be good.
And
Sorry,
there'll
what
be
were you
one.
saying, Kay?
How powerful is the spike?
Well, if it's bound Giles here for however long, it should be more than sufficient to bind an Abashi.
From
Yeah,
what
but
I can
what I'm asking
feel
is,
when I push my will against it, it draws strength from what it's impaled into.
Oh, that's clever.
oh, so
Interesting.
I'm
The
just
more I
saying,
struggle, the heavier it gets.
if we've already attracted the attention of an Abachi, fucking Lord Frieza, and we're making a contract with Giles here potentially, it might be in our best interest keeping the spike for something maybe more powerful than the Abashi, because it looks like we'll be running into a lot more hellish creatures.
Do you think we could use it on Frieza?
I mean, Frieza
No.
isn't a demon or a devil,
Yeah, I
whatever,
mean,
right?
I'll need to
Just
study the spike.
only works on fiends.
It's possible, but and then John's gonna tap the back of his hand on the book on his lap. I have all of the shaman's notes on the subject. We have the item itself. We have Giles. We have an air of jolly cooperation, and I have faith, if that's a thing, that we could make this work. Between my arcane knowledge, the research that's here, and the wealth of knowledge sitting next to us.
I think he means you, bad guy.
I would recommend if you want to study the spike, it be removed from my flesh first.
Yes, that's probably in best order.
Aye.
Well,
So should we just start discussing that part first, then?
I wonder if we should rest first, have a night to think on it. Giles can think how he would like to word the contract. I can think about how I would like to word my end, if that's what we decide to, or endeavor to pursue. Finish up, figure out what to do with the cultists, and then see where we go from here. And all of the confidence that John has had up to this moment kind of starts to wither away as we start moving back into decision territory, and it's not quite so clear. And he starts to go back into that little neurotic spiral of his as he sits back against the wall.
Giles actively rolls his eyes.
You've spent a couple of millennia here. One more day isn't gonna be the end of the world for you.
I wonder, Croc, if there was a command that we could give to Giles to make his stay more comfortable instead of sit. If we were to tell them to relax or something.
At this moment, Giles stands,
Oh.
turns, grasps the giant stone seat that he had been sitting on, and with a fair amount of effort, like, tears it free from the floor and hefts it above his head. And then turns to Kruark, holding the seat. Lowers the seat so it's resting on his shoulder, which it's now scraping against the top of the cavern,
Yeah.
and instructs you that you must be careful with your wording. You told me to take a seat.
Huh? Yeah,
I like him.
it's a good point.
Wait, so that means you disobeyed orders?
I did not. I have taken the seat.
Yeah, but only now.
I mean, there's
It
plenty
was
of
in
different...
my possession while I was sitting on it. Again, it's about interpretation.
Yeah, we're in Loophole City here, Luna.
Is my ritual quest done yet?
I think your ritual cast is like 10 minutes, is it not?
I don't know. It doesn't say anywhere.
Ritual casting is usually the spell's normal duration plus 10 minutes. So what spell were you casting?
Unseen Servant. The duration's an hour.
Yeah, but the
Oh, the
casting
casting.
time is an action, so yeah, it would be finished now.
Stop changing my sheet!
Does that mean that my short rest is finished as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Dope.
Okay.
Alright, cool.
Right. Okay. Sorry. And he's gonna come back. John's gonna come back out of himself and like be re-present in the moment. Giles is holding the chair over their head against the ceiling.
Yeah, no, it's no longer over their head. It's just kind of resting on a shoulder. Like he's almost set it down as a pauldron on one side.
Okay. So take a seat. Are you amenable to that command, or are you thinking, oh, what would you think? What would be more relaxing for you? While we work all this out.
Freedom would be most relaxing.
That is definitely on the horizon. Well, you're an ancient being with thousands of years of experience, and I'm a human, so I gotta be a little more careful than you would need to be, I believe, in this arrangement.
You would merely die. I could be stuck in a bad contract for thousands of years.
Wow, okay. You know what? It's actually kind of relieving to find out that we both have something awful to lose. So we're sort of negotiating as equals here. John kind of like perks up a little bit. Okay.
Well, I guess we're all just taking a night to think about it.
So what about these cultists? The leftovers of Tiamat's. These, and John will gesture to the people who helped us in combat, they're companions. I don't necessarily know that we need to destroy them.
Well, no, I mean, if they...
I
as
don't
long as
know. I don't know what'll happen, especially if we're negotiating with Giles here. They were going to stay and do what the shaman was doing, maintain the status quo.
Yeah, but the status really isn't quo, so...
No, yeah, we are definitely upending that. So
I
they
guess
might...
if they make a big fuss, then we'll calmly explain to them not to. We'll tell them that we're planning on doing the whole thing with the Abashi.
Yeah. The only issue is, if we use the spike on the Abashi, then we don't have it for anyone else further down the line.
That is true. Maybe as part of the agreement, Giles can help us find another way to bind the Abashi.
I could just... I mean, maybe, depending on how long we want to stay here, maybe I could make a new spike. One for
What?
the Abashi.
Where are you gonna get resources for something like that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe... I don't... I'm thinking out loud, okay?
You think way too much, Books. You think way too much.
I think it's to balance out you.
I think that you don't think nearly enough.
But there's not much to think about. We make our deal with big guy here, right? If the
Yeah.
cultists make a fuss about it, well, they're cultists of Tiamat, so we kill them anyway. And we go on. We have a fucking bigger dragon to kill.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we just destroyed the Orc Shaman and his forces, including a Warg Alpha and a Beastmaster.
And 4 Tanarooks.
And 4 Tanarooks. Like, I think if we just explain to them that this is what has happened, and, you know, us preventing the Orc Shaman from kicking off is good for them, they'll do the sensible thing and be like, cool, we'll just stay here without, you know, all that horror to contend with.
Yeah, but then there's the risk they might expose Giles' allegiance to not Tiamat down in hell.
Well, we just only tell them that part.
Yeah, we
But
could
we
just
freed
say, oops, we fucked up. The pit fiend died in the combat and went back to hell. Sorry about your luck, Bob's your uncle.
Aye.
I will start looking at the two cultists standing right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
They are
Pretty sure-
indeed standing right there.
pretty sure these guys are smart enough to know which way the wind is blowing. You know, like Krog's gonna look over them and like, I mean, you two get that what happened here was the best case scenario, right?
Yes, that's why we helped.
Exactly.
And it's the monk that's speaking, the fanatic. Learned his lesson when he got frosted by Luna earlier to
Yeah.
just kind of shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they
Gently
frosted
frost
him
for
when he
like
was
16 damage or whatever.
when he was praying to Tiamat.
Yes,
It's just half his health bar.
And that's why he's smart enough to keep his mouth shut.
indeed.
Listen, all I'm saying is, if you want to keep them alive, we can, but it's loose ends, and loose ends never end up well.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, they easily could be useful if we decide to do the thing with the Abashi and keep it here.
But they're cultists of Tiamat, and the Ibashi also worships Tiamat. The moment
Well-
we leave, they'll free it.
No. Okay. So I don't expect you to understand, but things are different. If that makes sense. They're not supporting the current world order. They want what we want. They want Tiamat deposed.
Yes, they told us that after we quickly killed 4 of them. How do you know that's gonna be the case after we leave?
I mean, it didn't feel like they were lying.
Yeah, but if they're good at lying, you'll never find out if they're lying until it's too late.
I mean, I'm pretty good at sussing out when people are lying. Obviously, I'm not perfect.
What the guy told us was that they weren't exactly like. There's a difference from what the guy was saying between, you know, the Church of Tiamat outside and the Cult of the Dragon, which resulted, you know, like
Yeah.
these guys were more about using dragons than they were about, you know, putting them in power.
Yeah. And since they know a lot
That's
more
what-
about Tiamat than we do, they could know, like, binding rituals or anything of that order, not to mention, there's not a whole lot of people around. If we can get people on our side, we have allies, and that's... more heads are always better than less, you know? I mean, we're sitting here negotiating with a devil because we need allies.
If they kick off and it comes down to a fight, then, you know, tough for them.
The world's fucked up. Classical
Aye.
sensibilities aren't going to get us too far.
Sure. All I was trying to say is it only takes one of these assholes to forget who he's loyal to or what they're trying to do, and Giles is in big trouble in hell, and we're probably going to be obligated to help him because contract.
Well, like I said, it depends on what the contract says, and we're probably not going to be much good in hell for a while.
If it comes down to it, getting Giles a stronger position in the Hells to fend off demons and Tiamat, probably a good thing for us.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not an attractive proposition by any means, but
We don't have a lot of options.
aye.
I'll just face palm.
What could possibly go wrong?
Probably quite a lot.
Well, I mean, compared to everything else that's already gone wrong, I mean, it's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same flavor of fucked that we already are, you know? It's...
Basically, all we're doing is we're hedging our bets so that we can attempt to control the severity of things that could go wrong.
We're standing in 4 foot of shit. What's another couple inches?
We just move into a slightly less stinky, more shallow part.
Yeah,
We hope.
that's all we can do, I think.
At the end of the day, I'd rather have some humans and an Abashi pissed off at us trying to kill us than I would this guy.
Yeah, and whatever forces he has to bring to bear.
Exactly. I mean, if he gets down there and finds out that he's mostly got all of his forces intact, could suck.
Yeah.
Like for us, if we were opposed to him.
And besides, demons suck. We want people in power keeping the demons at bay. I mean, that's just... I mean, the Celestials did that. I mean, what the fuck? Those are bastions of good, right? So, clearly that's the right option, morally speaking.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's been a rough couple of days, okay?
I completely lost your track of thoughts like 5 minutes ago. Let's go
Yeah, me
sleep,
too.
and we'll talk to the devil over here in a fucking minute.
Hey, we having a sleep then?
Yeah?
Dome? Question mark?
So you're creating the dome on the inside then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what seems to make the most sense.
As a ritual or just...
As a ritual, yeah, it's not prepared. And I'm going to burn a sorcery point for extended spell to make it last 16 hours.
Okay.
Just on the off chance anything gets fucking high.
I'm going to start dragging all of the orc corpses and piling them up in the bottom left-hand corner of the swamp.
I will help.
I will help Proc.
Nice.
Of the swamp though, so not external to the swamp, just in the square.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consequently, does the
That's
swamp
Fred.
make the smell go away?
I mean, it's not that there's much smell that's generated right now, because you're kind of inside in weird swamp water. Like, the corpses are pretty fresh. Like, they'll begin to stink, but they haven't started yet.
And
That's a little small, but it gets the point across.
I shall clear these squares of swamp water.
Right, so what are you guys doing with the cultists?
I think they're probably welcome to nap with us.
Well, that's
'Cause-
not... Yeah, that's not what they're planning to do. So they would translate to you guys. They probably want to go back to Seoul and at least report what happened. But that would
No.
mean... No? Okay.
Yeah, Al is gonna strongly and very friendly suggest that they stay here until we go as a group to report the entire situation.
In that case, yes, they do want to be inside the bubble and not left outside alone with the pit fiend.
Because we don't know what the fuck happened to Soul after the shaman died. They could be going crazy. And we
Yeah.
don't want you walking into that bloodbath.
Better if we all go as a group.
Right, too. Yeah. I'm just gonna sit down in a comfy square and start reading my book on the spike ritual and everything that the shaman studied.
Righto. Okay. So if you want to make me an Arcana check to do this research, and how much of this rest are you taking, and how much are you spending on research?
Let me see. What are the rules here? 6 hours mandatory for resting. 2 hours of light activity.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do 2 hours of research, and then if we don't get anywhere, I will push through the evening.
Roger that. So make me an Arcana check at that, and we'll see where we land.
Before I roll, I'd like to grab like Luna's attention or somebody to help me with the, if that's allowable.
That is up to Luna.
He said Luna or someone else.
Well, Luna or someone else then.
Luna would be my first choice.
Yeah, like Luna's probably the next, like the
I
best.
will definitely help with an
Yeah.
Arcana check. Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Elle
I
would
feel-
give me disadvantage.
Yeah, I feel like the Knight, Croc, and Owl are going to be of no help whatsoever.
I mean, friend could help if Luna's not amenable if she's busy.
Ren probably has more Arcana than Luna.
Maybe, but
Vren has expressed not actually knowing very much about demons, devils, and that kind of thing. He obviously knows a ton about dragons, but this is in fact outside of his wheelhouse.
No one wants to read poor
Yep.
books.
so 17 with no help.
I mean, I wasn't directly asked. You just said Luna or someone else.
And I said I would prefer Luna.
Yeah, but that's still not asking.
Finger on the monkey's paw closes.
Okay, so with a 17, answer me this. What are you looking to research with this spike? What are you looking for?
How it's constructed, how to remove its influence, and how to bind it to another creature. Or just how it works in general.
Okay. So binding it to another creature is, from what you can tell looking into this, how to word this. So with Giles, you knew critical information that helped like affix the binding, and obviously it was hammered into his chest, so that helps. The notes here don't actually talk about how to get that critical information. So for binding another devil, you might need a true name.
Gotcha. Does it talk about releasing?
In terms of releasing a devil, that's actually a lot simpler. Like, the person that owns the binding could just do it. And like dispel magic again. If the owner did it, could just do it. It's protected from that kind of intrusion from devils and such, but actually be really easy for a mortal to remove it, which seems to be either a design flaw or an intentional like safety mechanism. So it's difficult for like devils to fuck with it, but easy for the people that created to mess with it.
True name. That's tricky. Okay. Does that take the full 2 hours to gain that information?
Yeah, that is what you get so far in this 2 hours.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Am I normal now?
You sound normal so far.
Okay, cool. I completely forgot what I was saying, so moving on.
Excellent. He said something about repurposing it, but we don't know in reference to what.
True name for a devil, does that mean it's impossible to repurpose?
Okay, well that's... I don't think anyone got any of that.
I think what he said was, because we need a true name, does that make the spike impossible to repurpose?
I would say that you guys don't know enough, but obviously he's not here to hear the answer to that.
Imagine it's not impossible, just very difficult.
Okay, well, Kay's leaving, so.
Yeah, that checks out.
Alrighty. Well, I think while John is doing that and everybody else is sleeping, Croc is actually going to ask the big guy if he can just like tell them a bit about, you know, the hells and like hierarchies and like just explain what, because like Croc knows next to nothing about the hells and demons and whatnot. Sorry, devils and whatnot. So Croc's gonna be like, could you just give me like a wee bit of knowledge? Like just tell me what
What exactly are you asking for knowledge on?
just like like, you know, what's it like there? Who, like, what do you do in a day?
The goings on in the plane that I serve are generally waging a war against the demons known as the Blood War on a neutral plane to try and destroy them, fueled by the souls of evil men and women that are transported to hell and converted into lemures, which robs them of the energy that they generated, allowing us to fuel our war machine to continue waging that war, which acts as a barrier from demons invading and overrunning the mortal planes. We are a lawfully aligned society that works as part of the multiverse.
Well, in a weird roundabout kind of way, it's actually good that there are evil mortals because if there weren't, you wouldn't be able to fuel your war machine and hold the demons at bay.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Do you have any more specific questions?
Were you born a pet fiend, or did you become one?
Generally, with souls, once you are converted to a devil, your memories are stripped from you. Rarely does someone simply become a pit fiend, though there are stories of entire sections of hell being populated from pit fiends from the blood of an archdevil. I have
Ooh.
not substantiated any of these claims. I worked my way up from a lemure.
Wow. Started at the bottom and knew you here.
Indeed.
So you were probably a mortal soul to begin with.
And, like, what's your passive insight, Krog? Because I believe it's pretty high, isn't it?
That's not bad. 14.
So he says to you, indeed. But you can tell just like and it's not that he gives it away, but there's a small pause before he answers that's just a little too long,
Mm-hmm.
like he's letting you believe that, but that is in fact not true.
Gotcha. And Krog is cognizant of that, but takes it as like um basically like whatever the truth is, he like doesn't want people to know. Ergo, Krog is not going to ask.
Indeed, which is interesting because Krog has all the power to just demand that knowledge.
Yeah. Krog's too nice though. So what
Mm-hmm.
was it? I'm assuming it was, but was it difficult to become a pet fiend?
It was centuries of agony and bootlicking.
Yeah, fair enough. That checks out. Are there any like devils that you respect?
It's an interesting word.
Well, you don't strike me as the kind of guy who gets all buddy with the other folk down there, but I assume that there's maybe a devil or a couple of devils that you either respect their power or the purpose that they serve or something.
I respect the purpose that we serve. As for particular devils, there are those that I respect the power and will of.
Sure. Like, do you live in like a city, or is it wilderness?
There are cities, and then mostly wastelands, lava, wastelands, giant machines running around the surface of Avernus, and it depends on the layer. There are
Okay.
different layers.
Like an onion.
He narrows his eyes at you, Krark.
And Krark is being dead serious. Like, Krark is not being mocking at all. They just...
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So, Who wants to roll me a percentile die for absolutely no reason?
I will.
Do it now.
Oh, there's no way that can go wrong.
79.
79,
Wow.
perfect.
10 off of being perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Shame.
so we're a couple of hours into the rest at this point, being that John's done the research. Krark's been discussing things, with Giles. You guys feel the cave kind of like shake. There's just like a rumble, and it's a short one, but like noticeable to anyone that's conscious.
Ooh.
Anyone else feel that?
Hey.
Does it feel like the rumble and shake from before, like when the cultists were using an item to try to scare us off?
That continued for a lot longer and was a lot more dramatic. This was almost subtle.
Okay. I'm gonna poof my owl out.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should take a look at that.
I think you're right.
And I'll put my consciousness into the owl and fly towards the cave entrance
Okay.
and see what in the fuck is going on.
So you fly your owl out the cave entrance. Make me a perception check with the owl stats. This is a visual one.
I think
17.
before the owl goes, Krark will cast protection from evil and good on it.
Okay. Right, so when the owl gets outside the cave, it would notice that the orc bodies have been mostly moved. So, like, they're all piled off to the side now near the edge of the cliff. And in fact, a couple of them have been removed from the group and have been just, like, shoved into the fire that Cookie was running and
Oh,
are just burning.
okay.
Other than that, you can't see much else that's different from the last time you looked around. Like
Okay.
nothing is obvious to your owl right now visually on the outside.
Copy that. I'm gonna fly back into the cave and then take a look at the room with the cultists where Soul was and see if there's anything going on in there.
So Sol has moved into what used to be the shaman's room. So
Okay.
I'll actually move his token. He's looking through everything the shaman had, and his entire like team, all of the guards, cultists, dragon claws, all of that are all in there looking through rooms that they obviously weren't allowed access to up to this point.
Yeah.
And they're searching around, like they're not necessarily being messy, but they're searching the place top to bottom. And Soul is there at not necessarily a desk, but he's there over a shelf reading through some material as best as he can.
Does anyone perceive my owl in a hostile way as it flies into the room?
Definitely a couple of them take notice of it, but they don't immediately draw swords. They're just like, that's really fucking weird, an owl being here.
Okay. I'm gonna fly my owl up to Soul and see if I can land on his shoulder and look at what he's reading.
Okay, when you land the owl on his shoulder, he definitely like jumps and tries to push the owl off, brandishes a dagger at it. Like he wasn't expecting an owl to suddenly just land on his shoulder.
Yeah.
It may have been that they were all thinking, "Oh, wild animal flew in here; it'll fly out or something," but that was very strange. So he is
Yeah.
now clutching papers to his chest and brandishing dagger at an owl.
Okay, so he's hiding information from the owl.
Yeah, I don't remember myself as a person if Sol ever encountered your owl to know that it was John's. So he's just like, what the fuck, owl?
Gotcha. Well, nothing I can do. I'll have the owl fly off of his shoulder and then land over on like the shaman's desk or whatever,
Hmm.
in like clear view of him, and the owl's just gonna like bow and like in like a not owl kind of way to like make it seem like it's a magic ether.
Make me a charisma check with the owl's charisma.
Oh, I don't have an owl sheet pulled up.
Pretty sure it's like 3.
Sure. There's a d20 plus 3. That's a 5.
Okay. What's your owl's armor class?
If it looks like they're like acting hostile to it, I'm gonna poof it out of existence. But if I don't have enough time for that, probably not high. Owl 5e stats. Armor class looks like it's 13. Oh, that's for an
Yeah.
owl bear. That's for an owl bear. Hold on.
Okay, well,
bit different.
if it's lower than 16, the last thing your owl sees is a dagger, like flashing towards its face, and then your tether to it ends very abruptly.
Well, that's disappointing. Okay.
How'd it go?
Not well. Lost the owl. Didn't see too much of anything.
Huh.
Saul and his men are frantically ripping through all of the shaman's notes in his area.
Okay.
I have no idea what made the noise.
Is that something we should check, or will it wait, do you think?
I don't know. There could be important information in there. It could have absolutely nothing to do with what we're doing. But they are rampaging around unchecked in their little area. We could try to go talk to them. I mean, we're halfway through the night. And people are sleeping, so it's probably not a good idea right now. But who knows if they'll be there in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all the orc bodies have been moved too. Most of them are in like a pyre on Cookie's fire.
Okay. That could just be the orcs doing their thing.
I would imagine so. But
Not really sure if this is something that we need to worry about, or I mean,
don't.
Okay, do you want me to just go check?
If you think it's safe, I mean, I don't have an owl to go with you, so I can't send reinforcements.
That's alright.
I'll need a few minutes to make another one.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'll go have a look.
Okay.
I'll make sure that you can all hear me if you need to. All right.
Oh, wait, you could take Friend's owl if Friend's amenable. At least have someone go with you.
Yeah, it means waking him up, but
Yeah,
I could come.
After 2 hours, Ren is asleep, trying to recover spell slots.
Yeah.
and he is a wee bit, knifey when folk wake him up.
Yeah. I would have thought he'd have been over that by now. Been traveling with us for so long, and we sleep in a dome. But, I can respect it.
I think he's just had a rough time of things.
Yeah, we all have, honestly.
True. Yeah, do you know what? I'll make sure you can hear me.
Well, I could come and keep an eye on you from the shadows.
If you're up for that. I don't want to
Alright.
interrupt your sleep. Seems like you kind of needed it, but I'll take the. Aye, sure. And
Okay.
Croc will get up and start walking.
So Croc and the knight are trying to exit the cave together?
Yes.
Yes.
Okie dokie. Well, you find the exit fairly easily. The orc camp is, as explained, similar to how it looked before. Obviously, it's a lot darker, so the knight can't see very far. Croc, I believe you have 60 feet of dark vision, right?
Yeah, just for recollection, though, we're not like leaving the whole cave. We're heading down to the cultists.
Okay. In that case, the entrance is being guarded as it was before, and the guard guy's willing to like send word back like for Soul, but he's doing his job again and is trying not to let you guys through. So
The
you
same guy as before.
Yep, same guy that you pinned to a corner before.
Croc's just like, oh, hey, it's you again. How's it going?
He kind of gives you a nod and is like, well enough, do you need to talk to Soul?
Was this all about, or
He's doing research at the moment.
cool? If he's up for a chat, I'd appreciate it.
If you're willing to wait here, I'll call someone to fetch him if he's
Sure.
amenable. Okay. And being that you're willing to wait, he heads back. You hear him like talk to another nearby humanoid, and then that humanoid rushes off. And then after a few minutes, Soul himself does show up. He's looking a little wild-eyed. So like he was fairly well put together if his clothing was shabby before. He's like his hair is frazzled and like he's got bags under his eyes. His eyes are bloodshot. He looks like he's just come down from something. And he's got like it's not like a book. He's got like handfuls of papers under one arm, and he like walks out and greets you, but is looking a little bit just wild, to be honest.
Ooh, you doing alright there, Soul?
We're going over the research of the shaman. It's insane. I had no idea that he was delving so deeply into this kind of thing. I thought we were trying to contain, but this is far more than containment. This is almost demon worship.
Oh, okay, that's not great.
Yeah, and he like retrieves a piece of paper or parchment, I suppose, holds it up to you and is like, look at this. It's insanity. And to you, it's just mad scribbles and like symbols, circles, drawings. Like it looks like the scratch, like chicken scratch in a language that you don't understand.
Yeah, Crouch just kind of looks and goes, I can say with absolute honesty that looks like the rambling of a madman.
Exactly. And then he kind of stuffs it back into the pile of papers under his arm.
Yep. So, shaman definitely bad. We're going with that, aye.
Yes. Have you defeated him?
Aye, he's a wee bit deed.
Good. Oh, good. And the devil?
He kind of got metal limbs.
Soul's face just drops.
Is very definitely no longer unconscious.
He drops all the papers.
and at the moment, not killing anybody, and I'm doing my best to keep it that way.
The devil's awake?
Aye.
And the spikes containing him?
It's a wee bit touch and go. Not gonna lie to you. It's how to phrase this? It's not what any of us expected. Let's put it that way.
Okay. I need to read over the research. We need to figure out how what the shaman was doing is done, so we can. And you can tell, like, he hasn't had any sleep, is coming down from something, is exhausted, and is now, like, frantic. So
Oh.
he keeps losing his place in what he's trying to say and then trying to pick it up again. But he notices all the papers are scattered on the floor. Well, parchment, sorry, I keep saying papers. Parchment scattered on the floor. He starts trying to scoop them up, place them back under his arm, and, like, you can see he's struggling, but is, like, muttering to himself about what he needs to do, what they need to do to survive, and is, like, almost not in a rude way, but in, like, a, oh my god, I have so much to do, I can't cope with this, is turning away from you to, like, walk back into the cave, just because now he's in a blind panic. It's almost like, oh, I don't have any time to waste, I gotta go.
Okay, just relax a wee bit. Take a deep breath. You're not going to do yourself any good if you give yourself an aneurysm.
What's an aneurysm?
Brain fire.
That sounds almost relaxing compared to what my brain feels like right now.
Okay, well, let's... Is there anything I can do to help you right now?
Find us the rest of the shaman's research. There's bits missing and we don't fully understand, but I need to get back to research. That's what I need to do.
Okay. I think it might be a good idea if some of your guards keep an eye on the entrance.
Yes, we will guard the entrance.
Good. And we are just going to make sure that we all live through the night.
He nods to you, but then very quickly rushes back into the cave. You hear him talking to the guards. He moves back in, but a couple of cultists move out and start making their way to the entrance. There's still some bodies of cultists you murdered on the way in, so they start trying to, like, effectively, like, move them into a pile because they don't necessarily know what to do with them. Everyone's on high alert right now. Soul disappears back off into the cave to do more research.
So the wee guard guy come back?
Yeah, he's standing back at the entrance.
Okay, well, seems like Soul's not having the best time of things.
He nods.
How are you doing?
He just kind of, like, rubs his brow and is like, well, there's been an awful lot of changes in the past couple of days.
Yep.
I'm alive. We'll see how all of this shakes out. And he like
Cool.
sets his shield and bangs his spear down and like straightens his back.
Okay. Well, just you focus on that being alive thing. And,
You too.
yeah, just... I got nothing. Just be safe.
Alright, can I put this on the... There we go. That's where that's supposed to be.
And Croc's gonna kind of walk away. Walk past the knight as if the knight isn't there, so as not to give away the fact that the knight was hiding. And start moving back.
Yeah, the guard just stays on duty, guarding that little passage. And in fact, the knight, do you stick around to observe him for a little longer?
Sure.
Yeah, you see him like he stays on high alert for like a few moments after Karok is fully gone, and then you see him like lift his shield and start inspecting the back of it, and you can see his eyes moving left to right. So like he's clearly got like a book or a paper or something on the back of his shield and is just like reading to pass the time.
Right, okay. I guess I just leave.
Okay.
Scooch along the wall.
Croc's gonna get to about here, then stop, turn around, stop the knight. And be like, fuck, almost forgot. Wait a second. And Croc's gonna gently jog back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry. Did you feel a wee rumble?
Yes.
Any idea what that was? Was that you guys, or
We assumed it was to do with the devil. There were several rumbles in the time you've been away. One big boom.
aye? But like the most recent one.
Didn't sound any different out here than the last few.
Oh, okay. Alright. And Croc's gonna leave again.
He goes back to reading the back of his shield.
And Croc will return and relay that to John.
When you get back, John's in the middle of recasting Find Familiar. Got a bunch of...
I'll speak to you after you're finished doing your thing.
Yeah. Shouldn't take too much longer.
Croc is going to drag the body of the warg like over here.
Okay.
And kind of like peek under the probably by now incredibly sodden rug.
Mm-hmm.
And see if the ruined thing is doing anything.
Make me an investigation check.
Alrighty. This should be fun. 4.
You have no idea either way. Even looking at it and inspecting it for a while, you can't tell if it's just like designed in a way that looks magical or if it's doing something magical right now. You have no idea what this thing is about. It's so outside of your wheelhouse. This is effectively, exactly the same as someone with no knowledge of cars when their car breaks down, popping the hood and going, "Yeah, that's an engine."
Yep. Oh, yeah, that sure is something. Now, do you get any idea what this thing is?
A teleportation circle.
Okay. Probably not causing rumbles.
I've never seen a teleportation circle make a cave rumble, no.
Okay, I'll just put the rug back over this then.
Alright, so is there anything else anyone's doing before the party tries to get that long rest in?
Once John is finished doing Find Familiar, Krog will explain what they saw and what they heard and what they discussed to John.
Yeah, find familiar as a ritual takes
I think 11 minutes?
An hour and 10 minutes.
an hour and 10, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's a much longer cast time than I had anticipated. Maybe
Which
I'll
means
save that for the morning.
John's gonna have to sleep an extra hour if he does that now.
Yeah.
But John really needs to get to sleep, or he's not gonna be, because he
Yeah.
spent the 2 hours researching. He doesn't really have much time left before he loses the long rest, unless he gets
Takes
his
extra
sleep in.
time.
Yeah, or he'll still be sleeping while the rest of the party's up and ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not really in a hurry, yeah?
No, don't.
At the moment.
16 hours.
For the moment, no.
Yeah, for the moment, we're okay. Yeah, in that case, Krog will just continue waiting, intermittently stepping in and out of the dome. And if there are any more rumbles, Krog will time how far apart they happen.
Hmm.
No, I'll give up on the Find Familiar because it's a whole hour. After the owl pops and you get back, we can just talk. I'll do
Okay,
that in the
okay.
morning.
Yeah, Krog will just tell you what's up then.
Okay, interesting. Well, at least it sounds like Soul hasn't gone hostile. It definitely sounds like they've gone crazy.
Does sound like he's going to be a bit crazy, aye.
You didn't tell him that we're making a deal with the guy, did you?
No,
Okay, because he's probably not gonna like that.
probably not. But I was thinking we can do our thing in the morning, let him go, and just say that he broke out and we were luckily in your dome.
Yeah, that might work. Might not, but it might.
Might not, we'll see.
Yeah, and then
And if it does work, you know.
The only issue with letting Giles go free, remember, is the Abashi never saw Giles. Okay, never mind. That's okay.
We stopped it before it got there.
Yep. And when it comes back, there'll be nothing here to find.
Yep.
So that's neatly sorted?
I think so. Plus, Giles is offering to help us with the Avashi. Can make it, you know.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if we're sending him back, you can just go kill it there.
Or he did offer to, if it is possible, help you trap it.
True.
All the things to discuss tomorrow. But you should get some sleep, because if you're
Yes.
going to be discussing things with this guy, you'll probably want to be, firing at full cylinders.
Yeah, that's a good point. Boy, this is gonna go so poorly. I just already know.
Okay, well, that fills me with confidence.
Oh, it's gonna be a wonderful disaster. But we made it through this far.
If that was an improvement, it didn't help.
I'm great at pep talks.
Okay. Well, get some sleep.
Ooh, that's actually not bad. I was hoping for like a 0. But yeah, John will go to bed.
Okay. Is anyone else doing anything before the party rests?
I'm not.
Okay. In that case, there aren't any more rumbles during the night, Croc. There's a lot of I don't know how to put this, but like you see Giles basically messing with like his new limbs and doing a lot of just like standing there staring off into the middle distance,
Mhm.
which looks strange to you because like he's obviously deep in thought but not voicing anything. Like he does occasionally move, pace around, move to a new position, maybe lean his back up against the wall, but it's very sporadic. Like sometimes he can stay in position for like a couple of hours at a time.
Yeah.
But that's all you're privy to in this dark cave. It is otherwise pretty much just dead silence. And you
Yeah.
can all gain the benefits of a long rest.
Yay.
Such an unenthusiastic band of yays.
Nope. I almost just gave myself a point of exhaustion. That's not what resting does.
It's
No,
the
no.
opposite of what it does.
It is indeed the opposite of what it does.
Although with John, a lot of the time it is a point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John's
well,
existence is exhaustion.
I believe this removes the last point of exhaustion from Al.
well, hey.
What's that? What's that?
Well, until we get into another fight, and I have to get another one.
Mm-hmm. I haven't been a player for so long. Hit die, is it half your
Half.
total rounded up or down?
It's rounded down.
Always
Yeah.
down,
Always down.
unless otherwise.
Yes, I couldn't remember the otherwise. Okie doke. So Al has 3 hit dice remaining. And Giles also gains the benefits of a long rest.
What do we need to round up or down? We're level 6.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's true. I hadn't taken that into account.
half of 6 rounded down, I guess.
Had done all of your level up except for actually changing the number.
Okay.
There you go. Now you have 4 hit dice. Congratulations. So at this point, by the time morning comes, you guys wake up to a very confused looking human, one of the random cultists, just kind of like knocking on the dome. But
From
obviously,
outside.
yeah, from outside, they can't get in. They don't really know what's going on, but they're like knocking on it, like hello.
Could I just make like a front door in the dome, so like there's a little bit of glass, so like they can see through it?
I
to
don't
us on the
believe
inside.
I don't believe that's the way the spell works. I think you can just change like the outside of the dome. I don't think you can door. I think you can just either make it visible or opaque.
Yeah, I more meant like just make like a small like 2 foot by 2 foot section of it translucent instead of opaque, so it would look like there was a window.
Again, I think it's all or nothing with the dome.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think it's always opaque, to be honest. The
Yeah,
dome is opaque from the outside, but any color you choose, and you can make it dimly lit or dark.
Ah, okay. Well then, yeah. There's. I thought you could make it transparent, but
Apparently not.
Well, we always could. Your god.
True.
no. This spell is as written. It's not
Yeah.
been messed with in any way.
Mm. You want me to go out and talk to him?
I mean, you could just stick your face through.
Alright. Krog will stick their face through.